Okay, let's talk about encumbrances, or obligations is kind of the simple word. Just like before, when we had benefits, we had a more complicated word called appurtenances. Now we have obligations, and we have a more complicated word called encumbrances. So let's get into what an encumbrance is. Now, just a quick note, when we did the appurtenances, the benefits, as a property owner, you get all of those benefits automatically. With obligations or encumbrances, you may or may not be obligated by these encumbrances that we mentioned. So that's going to be on a property by property basis, depending upon how many obligations or encumbrances you might have. So that's really important to note. Let's talk about the pure definition of an encumbrance. An encumbrance is a right or an interest, squeeze that in there for you, held in a property by someone other than the owner. Someone other than the owner. So, yeah, let me kind of explain that, and then we'll give you some more examples. So, let's say you have $1,000 in your checking account, and you write a check for $100. Now, that person doesn't cash it right away. They just hold on to it for a couple of days or so. But while they're holding on to it, do you really have $1,000 in your checking account? No, because you wrote a check for $100, and basically that $100 is, if you want to think about it, it's spoken for. That's a kind of a slang way to think about it. That $100 is promised through the check to somebody else. So effectively, you only have $900. This is the exact same concept as an encumbrance. It's somebody else has an interest or an ownership or something like that, a stake in your property. If it's a right, it's highly likely an easement. Highly likely an easement. If it's an interest, it's highly likely to be a debt. A debt. Much like this checking account example that I gave you here.